Let's jump right into this explainer, because today we're looking at something so fundamental, so deeply baked into the DNA of our planet, that it's honestly incredibly easy to just completely overlook it. Every single organism out there, from the microscopic bacteria in the soil to the towering redwoods to, well, you and me, we all need food. We need it, we seek it out, and we use it to get the energy required to grow and just maintain our bodies day to day. Without energy, the biological machine just stops, right? But getting that energy? That is where the hustle begins. And this isn't some slow, passive process. This invisible hustle for energy is happening trillions of times a second, all around us, literally keeping the entire planet alive.
So it really begs the question, how does everything on Earth actually get its energy? It's kind of the ultimate mystery of planetary survival, because when you strip away all the insane complexity of the natural world, every living thing has to order from the exact same underlying menu of life. Think of it like this. You either make your meal, you steal your meal, or you scavenge your meal.
Section 1. Autotrophs, nature's self-feeders.
Okay, let's dive right into this by starting with the true heavyweights of the natural world, the ultimate independent survivors who don't need to rely on anyone else for their next meal. We're talking about autotrophs. These are our green plants, and they possess what is essentially a biological superpower, the ability to synthesize food entirely for themselves. They don't hunt, they don't forage in the traditional sense, they manufacture. And they do this through the absolutely incredible process of photosynthesis. By being totally self-sufficient, they literally stand as the foundational pillars of all life on Earth.
Section 2. The photosynthesis recipe, turning light into food.
So we know these plants are out there making their own food, but how exactly do they pull this off? Well, we're going to look at the exact chemical recipe plants use to turn mere light into physical sustenance. Now, what's really interesting here is just how unbelievably basic these ingredients are. Plants are essentially performing biological alchemy. To forge their complex survival and build physical mass, they take the most mundane substances imaginable. A bit of simple carbon dioxide from the air, water and minerals from the dirt, the chlorophyll already present inside their leaves, and ambient sunlight from above. That is the entire required inventory to literally build life out of thin air. No way, right? But it's absolutely true.
Let's walk through this process. It's essentially a microscopic, high-tech assembly line. First, solar energy beams down and is caught by the chlorophyll present in the leaves. You can think of those leaves as billions of highly efficient tiny solar panels. Next, the plant uses that captured energy to combine the water and the carbon dioxide it gathered. And finally, off the assembly line comes the product, complex carbohydrates to feed the plant itself, and, as a crucial byproduct, oxygen. It's an incredibly elegant factory, operating in total silence, trillions of times over right in your own backyard.
And let's just zoom out for a second to acknowledge the massive macro impact of that byproduct. Oxygen. It's released during photosynthesis, and it is utilized by living organisms for their survival. So why does this matter to you? Well, because every single breath you take is a direct result of this exact chemical transaction. Our survival, and the survival of nearly every moving creature on Earth, is intimately tied to the exhaust fumes of plant life. Talk about a crazy connection.
Section 3. Rule breakers, parasites, and saprotrophs.
But, nature is never just a straight line. There's always a plot twist. Not everything out there is playing by the rules of honest, self-sufficient manufacturing. Meet the biological pirates of the natural world. There are actually plants out there, like Cuscuta, that are pure parasites. Think of them as botanical vampires. They completely bypass the hard work of photosynthesis, latch on, and just siphon their food directly from a hardworking host plant. And then you have the scavengers. Many fungi don't make their own food either. Instead, they derive their nutrition from dead and decaying matter.
To put a precise scientific term on these scavengers, we call them saprotrophs. These are organisms, like many of those fungi we just mentioned, that derive their nutrition from dead and decaying matter. Honestly, they're nature's ultimate cleanup crew. Extracting the absolute last bits of energy left behind by the rest of the biological world is absolutely critical work. I mean, without these microscopic recyclers breaking down organic matter, our forest floors would be buried miles deep in dead leaves and fallen trees.
Section 4. Heterotrophs, the dependent eaters.
Let's move to our final category on the menu of life, bringing the entire story all the way back around to our own biology. This is the category that most of us are intimately familiar with, heterotrophs. This includes a few plants and literally all animals. So the crucial point here is that we are entirely, completely, and unavoidably dependent on others for our nutrition. Think about it. Despite all our human technology, our sprawling cities, and our status at the top of the food chain,
We're biologically incapable of generating our own fuel. We're permanent consumers. We absolutely have to consume other organisms to exist.
And this brilliantly illustrates the fundamental divide in the natural world. On one side, you have the autotrophs, the self-feeders, synthesizing their own food from scratch using just sunlight and simple chemicals. On the exact opposite side, the heterotrophs, the dependent eaters, entirely reliant on consuming others to get the energy they need for survival. It's really the perfect distillation of how life sustains itself, perfectly balancing the producers against the consumers.
Which naturally leads us to this final thought. If all animals, meaning all of us, are heterotrophs, completely dependent on others for nutrition, how long could we possibly survive without the autotrophs? It's a pretty stark reminder of the fragile, interconnected web of life. Our existence, our civilization, our very next breath is entirely mortgaged on the silent, steady work of green plants turning light into life. Definitely something to think about the next time you walk past a tree or take a deep breath of fresh air. Thanks for exploring the mechanics of plant nutrition with me today.